Hare Krishna, devotees. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Shri Radha Madhava ki Jaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtapriya Shabaddeshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we read from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Continuation. This is the chapter. Just 1 second. Canto 9, chapter 10, verse number 54. Eka-patnī-vrata-dharo rājarṣi-caritaḥ śuciḥ sva-dharmaṁ gṛha-medhīyaṁ śikṣayan svayam ācarat eka-patnī-vrata-dharo rājarṣi-caritaḥ śuciḥ sva-dharmam gṛha-medhīyam śikṣayan svayam ācarat. Eka-patnī-vrata-dharo rājarṣi-caritaḥ śuciḥ sva-dharmam gṛha-medhīyam śikṣayan svayam ācarat. Eka-patnī-vrata-dharo rājarṣi-caritaḥ śuciḥ sva-dharmam gṛha-medhīyam śikṣayan svayam ācarat. Eka-patnī-vrata-dhara, taking a vow not to accept a second wife or to have any connection with any other woman. I must say this. This is interesting because eka-patnī-vrata-dhara, this is the vrata or the vow. I will accept only one wife. But Prabhupada said this added, or not to have any other connection with any other woman. Because once again, this is Prabhupada's genius, because Prabhupada was preaching to the Westerners. And in the West, it's very common to accept a woman without being married. So not eka-patnī, it's just a living together without marriage. So Prabhupada, that's why Prabhupada says, or to have any connection with any other woman, just to make sure. Because in West they say, I'm not married. I'm eka-patnī-vrata. I have one wife and I have several other women. So Prabhupada knew this well, and this is already 10th. This is already late canto, 10th canto. Sorry, this is 9:10:54. I'm not sure if Prabhupada translated this. Maybe this is translated. Huh?
Ninth canto. It's ninth canto.
Ninth canto. So Prabhupada translated, and he was long time in America, so he knew the people are not accepting wife, but they accept one wife and many other girlfriends. So he makes sure that this is also clear. So taking a vow not to accept a second wife or to have any connection with any other woman. Rājarṣi, like a saintly king. Caritaḥ, whose character, śuciḥ, pure. Sva-dharmaṁ, one's own occupational duty. gṛha-medhīyaṁ, especially of persons situated in household life. śikṣayan, teaching by personal behavior. svayam, personally. ācarat, executed his duty. Translation: Lord Rāmacandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other women. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders, in terms of varṇāśrama-dharma. Thus, he taught the general public by his personal activities. So this is the qualities of Lord Rāmacandra. One of the main, Lord Rāmacandra was, of course, Supreme Personality of Godhead, possesses unlimited qualities, but this is one of the main qualities in his Leela, his Bauma Leela, when he was here. This was his main thing. He performed his duty perfectly. Household ashram, he performed in his household ashram perfectly. He taught the general public by his personal activities. So this is the acharya. Acharya is the one who gives personal example how to properly execute the Vedic instructions. As we know in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a description. There's a Bhagavatam and there's a person Bhagavatam. There's a book Bhagavatam and person Bhagavatam. So we see now Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the person Bhagavatam. Whatever he did, whatever he spoke, whatever he was Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada is actually not different from, in that sense, not different from Srimad Bhagavatam. Not that he is Srimad Bhagavatam, but because he personified Srimad Bhagavatam. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? And this is what it is. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is said, correct me if I'm wrong, Arjuna asked Krishna, what is the quality of one who is transcendently situated? How does he walk? How does he eat? How does he sleep? How does he perform his activity? How does he sit? These are all good questions, interesting questions. So Krishna explained everything. So this is Srila Prabhupada. He is the personification. What is the one who is spiritually advanced, who is actually real as Srimad Bhagavatam? How does he eat? How does he sleep? How does he, what does he speak? And this is Srila Prabhupada. So Lord Rāmacandra also, he taught the perfection of a householder, especially for householders in terms of an ashram dharma. So Rāmacandra gave this best example. There's no better example. This is the ideal example, how to actually behave. Purport. Eka-patnī-vrata, accepting only one wife, was the glorious example set by Lord Rāmacandra. One should not accept more than one wife. Although in the Vedic society we see Uttamat Maharaj Uttanapada had 2 wives, so many other people have 2 wives. There was one king who had a million wives. This is a lot of wives. So Prabhupada says here, one should not accept more wives than one. So again, this is what Srila Prabhupada's we should take Srila Prabhupada as our pramana guru, you can say. Our guru, which we take instructions from. There's shastras, we follow the shastras, but the latest acharya is interpreting the shastra, how shastras should be interpreted. If I'm sure if you look some other shastras, Vedic shastras described, it's okay to marry more than one wife. But Prabhupada gives instructions here, one should not marry more than one wife. So means that this is our latest acharya, is our final conclusion. Because otherwise you could say, oh, but Vishwanath Chakravarti says this, oh, but whatever, Jiva Goswami said other thing, but whatever, Jayadev Goswami said this, or Sridhar Swami says this in the commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, this is all true, but our final conclusion is Srila Prabhupada. And this is it. If Prabhupada says one should not accept more than one wife, that means one should not accept more than one wife. This is what our Acharya says. In those days, Prabhupada says, of course, people didn't marry more than one wife. Even Lord Ramacandra's father accepted more wives than one, which ended in disaster. But Lord Ramacandra, as an ideal king, accepted only one wife, Mother Sita. When Mother Sita was kidnapped by Ravana and the Rakshasas, Lord Ramacandra, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could have married hundreds and thousands of Sitas, but to teach us how faithful he was to his wife, he fought with Ravana and finally killed him. This is another very important point, the loyalty. The loyalty is very important in one's spiritual life. Be loyal to one wife, be loyal to one guru, be loyal to Srila Prabhupada. Because again, nowadays, age of internet, we can just click and you can read this commentary and that commentary, and so this makes more sense, although it's contradicting to Srila Prabhupada. No, I don't care what, maybe this person is quoting so many acharyas, but for me, what Prabhupada says, this is what counts. What Srila Prabhupada says, this is what counts. And of course, because we know Prabhupada is always aligned with the other acharyas. So loyal to Srila Prabhupada is very important. We should not go visit other spiritualists. When we go to, especially we go to Vrindavan or Mayapur, we should not go to see this Baba, that Baba, because he has realized Radha and Krishna. He's a Radharani Bhakta. All glories to him. Very nice. I respect. Very best, offer my obeisance to him. But I will not listen from him instructions. Shiksha, I'm taking only Srila Prabhupada. And this is what loyal to one's guru is. Because Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreyam Uttamam. By the asking guru, surrendering to guru, this is how we get import of the Vedic knowledge revealed. It's not like by developing knowledge, by hearing from this Baba and then reading from some book and reading from there, and then we kind of develop knowledge. No, we develop knowledge by surrendering to the guru. This is how you actually develop transcendental realization. And therefore, those who are initiated in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness stay with Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada gave us shiksha, and Prabhupada gave us indirectly also diksha through his disciples. And we stay with Prabhupada, and we stay loyal to Prabhupada. And the whole world burns, we said, no, I'm staying with Prabhupada. That's if a whole ISKCON goes to this Swami or that Baba who is most realized, and he gives them love of Radha Krishna. Thank you. I'm staying with Prabhupada because, how can I relieve Prabhupada? And Lord Ramacandra himself said, glorious is that master who never leaves his servant, and glorious is that servant who never leaves his master. So this is the instruction of the Shastras also. So Prabhupada ki Jaya. So meaning that Ramacandra could marry so many Sitas, he could say, okay, one wife gone, I can get another one. This is nowadays we say, okay, she's gone, I get another wife. No, he fought for her. He actually fought for her, and he won, and proving that this is more important. That dharma is more important than sense gratification, because sense gratification means, I have this wife. Oh, she's getting a little old now. Let me find another one, younger, as my Guru Maharaj said. Let me find a younger model. Like we have a latest model of a computer, And we say, oh, this is a little bit old. It's a 6 years old computer. Oh, really? You should get better model. So we look on the internet to find better model, newer model. So we also look for newer wife. This wife is a little old, and let me find another one, younger. It's younger model. So this is not how we live our spiritual life. We live our spiritual life but duty. Our duty is the most important, because by duty we make spiritual advancement. Anything in the material world, whatever we do, has to be based or directed towards spiritual advancement. And family life also, grihasta life, is only there to make spiritual advancement. Of course, we have it's a Prabhupada says, license to sense gratification. So there's people who could stay brahmacharis, people who could take sannyas, but there are also people who cannot be sannyasis or cannot be brahmacharis. But this is not discouragement at all. On the contrary, you can actually make progress in spiritual life and grihasta ashram equally. It says, Prabhupada says, even those who are fully surrendered, they're even higher than sannyasis, if you're surrendered to Krishna. So it's not like because you take a sannyas, now suddenly you're advanced, Yes, of course, you came to this point, but the grihastas who are fully dedicated are equally advanced. Prabhupada says. So, we read further. He fought with Ravana and finally killed him, Lord Ram. The Lord punished Ravana and rescued his wife to instruct men to have only one wife. Lord Rāmacandra accepted only one wife and manifested sublime character, thus setting an example for householders. The householder should live according to the ideal of Lord Rāmacandra, who showed how to be a perfect person. Being a householder or living with a wife and children is never condemned, provided one lives according to the regulative principles of varṇāśrama-dharma. Those who live in accordance with these principles, whether as householders, brahmacharis, or vanaprasthas, are all equally important. This is the final conclusion of Srila Prabhupada. All equally important. So what I was thinking here, there's this is the verse. In the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the chapter 14, it's called Ideal Family Life. So for householders, the ideal family life, Srila Prabhupada gives a little introduction to the chapter. He said, the chapter describes the occupational duties of the householder according to the time, the country, and the performer. So this is very interesting, according to the time, country, performer. Not in every country is not the same. People live differently. People, just the food, for example, I cooked breakfast today. So in India, they eat rice or whatever for breakfast, or idlis, but in the West they eat oats, half of them. Or in the place where I come from, they eat more like this burek, these Turkish preparations. So they don't eat oats. So different countries, different things. But the point is that each different location, there's maybe a little different flavor, but the thing should be the essence should be the same. And the essence is devotional service, to perform devotional service, to follow the instructions of authorities, and to associate with devotees who engage in devotional service. Prabhupada says the beginning of devotional service is shravanam, or hearing. So Prabhupada also said, for the maintenance of grihastas, family life, one must require to earn a living, and he must, Prabhupada says, this is an interesting point, which I think devotees have to hear over and over again, grihastas. One must not undergo extraordinary endeavor simply to accumulate money and unnecessarily increase material comforts. Nowadays, there's a tendency to increase the money. It's not enough to make some living, but let's increase it. Because how can my neighbor see that I have a smaller car that he has, or that I have only 2-story house? I should have 3 stories. My neighbor has 3 stories. I should have 3 stories house, Or I should have a big piece of land that my neighbor has, and I should get a bigger one. or when we had a dowry, when we give a daughter in marriage, to give the lots of money, so to prove that you are, to marry to a rich person. But of course, we try to do the best economic. We should not undermine this, but one should not do extraordinary endeavors simply to accumulate money and unnecessarily increase material comforts. Because accumulation of money, the more money we get, there's actually a rap song. This is the more money we get, the more problems we see. And the more problems we see, but also the more attachment we have. Then we're attached, and then the greed develops. Greed is not to be underestimated. People think, okay, I'm relatively free from lust, but nobody thinks about greed. Are you free from greed? Greed is the gates to hell. One of the 3 gates to hell. 3 vida naraka siedam. 3 types of hellish dvaras, the gates. They are lust, anger, and greed. Greed, it's important. It's not just we make money, accumulate. Don't give to anybody. Just me, and collect and get a bigger house, a bigger car. But we should actually here not unnecessarily increase material comfort. Because although a grihasta is externally active in earning livelihood, he should be internally situated as a fully self-realized person without attachment for material gains. We know Bhaktivinoda Thakur, although he was a big magistrate, big lawyer, he would actually taken it easy many times. Okay, and he would always try to direct his work to be closer to either Puri or Mayapur. He was rich, he could have lived in many places, but he said, no, I want to live closer to Mayapur. And he moved on the end, he moved to Godru. We know this is a famous house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They said, the legend says that they brought the train wrecks only to his house so that he can take train to work. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur would wait. Sometimes they said 1 hour or 2 hours earlier because he never wanted to be late. Also, he would wait in front of his house. He would wait for the train to don't be late to work. So, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur would also take easy, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had a one room in his house, which is a famous room, and this room now they repair it a little bit. But I liked it before. It is a small room, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur would chant, and this was just his room. It's a 1.5 meter, but 1 meter, something very small room, and he would just close there, no windows. Now they put windows because the devotees want to look inside, but before there was no windows and just dark, and he would go inside, close the door, and he would cover himself with chadar in the dark, complete darkness and silence, and he would chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, because he wanted to very much absorb in chanting. So this is the example of our previous acharyas of the perfect ideal family life. So meaning the grihasta should not. This is very, very, very careful not to become greedy, because if you become greedy, then you will not be able to give, and if you not be able to give, you will not be able to receive. There's this donation. If you give, you will receive, but if you take, your heart will become closed, and then how can you receive Krishna if you only take? Krishna will, you can take some external things, but you will never take the blessing of Krishna, or you cannot take fully blessings of Krishna. So therefore, it says here, Srila Prabhupada says here, a grihasta should always remember that one who is endeavoring to accumulate more money than necessary is to be considered a thief and is punishable by the laws of nature. So nobody is going to punish you. The devotees will not punish you, but the laws of nature will punish you in a sense that you become attached. And why would you become attached to matter if you want to make progress in spiritual life? It doesn't make sense. It's like you want to ride a boat, but then he said, "Oh, let me just throw this, this rope with the weight." I said, "Why would you do this?" "Well, I like this rope," and so you put the rope, and the boat wants to go, and you put another weight and another rope and another, and on the end the rope is not going anywhere. The boat, but you think, "Oh, I'm in the water, I'm in the river and I'm in the boat, so I must be going somewhere. But actually, you're not going anywhere because you have all these attachments, you know. And once you have money, then you become attached to things because you can buy things. There was this one once when I was very young. There was one boxer who became champion of the world, like a gold medal and things like this. And he came from a very simple background from the mountains. He's a mountain boy. He was herding sheep when he was boy. His family lived in a cottage together with sheep and goats. You know, they sleep together because it's warmer. You know, very simple, very simple people. You know, and somehow because he was strong and he somehow could punch people, and he became boxer and he became very famous. So he was touring with his golden belt. He came to my hometown and all these people. And so one person asked him, how are you dealing with this fame and this wealth? Suddenly he won some millions or whatever. And he said simple. And he said, I tell you, it's not what you think. He said, when I was simple, we could I didn't need clothes before, but now if I go somewhere, I have to buy these expensive clothes. He said, shoes, I cannot. He said, under $300, under $500 shoes, I cannot wear. Because he goes to this gala dinner, this and that, and he has to buy, he said, you cannot walk in simple shoes. You have to buy expensive shoes. And he said, he said, it's a similar life, just on a higher level. Oh, you have to spend so much money for certain things. So the more money you have, the more you will think like, oh, now I can buy this, or I can buy that one, or I can buy the latest gadget, or why would I buy whatever, iPhone 13, I can buy iPhone 6. I don't know, what is the latest iPhone? 18, 17, 16? 17. I can buy 17. And then you talk to your neighbor or your friend, they say, oh, I bought it in 17. Oh, really? How is it? Then you speak out, and you become attached to this. Become attached. And then why would you become attached? And then you will not be able to go back to God in this life because you have to pay this money back. You have to learn not to be detached. If you're attached, then instead of thinking of Krishna, you'll think about your money. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a story of Avanti Brahmana. Avanti Brahmana was a very greedy person. It's described. He would accumulate so much money, and he was so miser that he didn't want to spend on himself, just to look at it. Oh, I have so much money. And he did not buy anything to everybody, because he was so greedy. And somehow or other, it says, by the will of providence, somehow by the government manipulation, he lost some money. By his relatives ripped him off, his business transaction failed, and thieves came and stole some money, and in the end, he had nothing. And because he had nothing, his relatives said, "No, we don't care about you because you don't have money. Well, you are useless." They said that they all rejected him. So he did not know what to do. So he thought, I will take sannyas. This is usually people who do when they lose everything. They say, oh, I will just take sannyas. So actually he did take sannyas. So everybody started offending him and say, oh, he's a fake sannyasi. I know him. He was rich and this and that. And people start even urinating on him and spitting on him, throwing rocks. And he had a little kamandalu and a stick, and they took it away from him. And so he was suffering greatly. And then he realized that this is all because, first of all, I was attached. This is all that I was attached. Because all the attachment is in the mind. Why would you be attached to this machine? Why would you be attached? What is this? It's a machine. Why would you be attached to a clothes? It's just a piece of cloth. It's just everything is in the mind. Therefore, we should do the functional life. We should live decently, earn decently. But Prabhupada says here, the rest, there is it. According to instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam, every grihasta is a great communist who provide the means of living for everyone. Whatever grihasta may possess, he should equally distribute to all living entities without discrimination. The best process is to distribute prasad. So grihasta should distribute prasadam. There should be some prasadam distribution business. We have in Czech Republic so many devotees. They do so much prasadam distribution, food for life. I think they do, I don't know, very often food for life. So this grihasta should be involved in this. And what is there? Grihasta should also visit the holy place of pilgrimage mentioned in the Puranas. So this here. Grihasta should not be very much attached to his wife. He should engage even his own wife in serving the guest with attention. Grihasta should receive guests, they receive the holy people. They should, as they say, wine them and dine them. Not wine them, of course, but dine them, serve them well. And actually, Grihasta should be there, learn to be open-hearted to actually facilitate the community, facilitate the Krishna temple, and things like this. So, Prabhupada says here, whatever money Grihasta accumulate by the grace of God, so you're not accumulating money by your own endeavors, although you think your endeavor, it's all by the grace of God. He should spend in 5 activities. 5 activities the money should be spent. 1, worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you should worship the Krishna. 2, receiving Vaishnavas and saintly persons. So the Grihasta should invite Vaishnavas and saintly persons. 3, distributing prasadam to general public and to all living entities. So meaning even to, cows or animals in the forest we have here nearby. We have the Wildgehege, we have a Wildschweine, we have a deer. We should, help them also to survive the winter. Then receive this, distributing prasad to general public, offering prasad to his forefathers, and also offering prasad to his own self. So one should also eat prasadam. So this is the 5 activities of Grihasta. Grihasta should always be ready to worship everyone as mentioned above. And Grihasta should not eat anything not offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are some kind of guidelines. This is if you can have a time to look at this chapter. What is the number of chapter? Chapter 14, called Ideal Family Life in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7. So you can see what is the ideal of Grihasta life. And just try to follow this as best you can. Because we all try our best. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But we should try our best, because this is how we make progress, by following the instructions of the previous acharyas. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya. Are there any questions?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
I have one question. So, you mentioned about śikṣa, so like about Srila Prabhupada, and then
Yes.
like outside ISKCON, so there will be many Babas, and there may be also 700 souls, but like we listen to Srila Prabhupada. So now even within ISKCON, like we have this counselor system, mentor system. So they kind of get narrow-minded, like they just listen, even though they may externally try to listen, but they won't like really take the point. So like if there are mentors and then counselors, ultimately who are like spiritually advanced persons, like devotees give them like śikṣa, still they will again consult the mentor or the counselors. So is it really good or bad? Like even within ISKCON, like how can we consider this?
I'll make it one more time. So let me try to understand. Shiksha, the devotees have mentors nowadays.
Yeah.
It's mostly in India. In the West, we don't have mentors. So people who have mentors, and if they receive shiksha from some other non-mentor person, they
For
don't.
example, you are giving Srimad Bhagavatam, so you are like you have given a lot of points today.
Yeah.
But even though if there are mentors, then ultimately the like not disciples, I mean the mentees will.
I
again
understand.
Go to
I understand.
and
Yes.
get their,
Yes. Even if because if somebody gives the instruction, like give Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, and you hear this instruction, so what should you follow? You should follow your mentor. You should follow this what you hear. Something like this.
no, the point is like they won't anyway follow. They will go.
Oh, they will not follow.
They will go back to their mentors. And
I see.
This, and they will give their, own interpretation. So
yes, well, yes and no. The yes is that when we hear the Bhagavatam lecture from the speaker, we accept something which could be. It says there's one booklet called, I forgot the name of the book, but something like Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru and Prabhupada. Everything has to be aligned. Everything has to be together. So, if you hear something from somebody and you are not sure, like for example, if you hear that you should surrender to Krishna, that you hear what I quoted Srimad Bhagavatam. I didn't quote something else. I didn't invent anything. I read actually from Srimad Bhagavatam. So why would you not think that this is I can apply in my life? But you have to ask your Shiksha Guru, what do you think about this? I mean, this is Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, we say, but Shiksha instruction is a different thing. I cannot tell as a guest speaker to a temple devotee, or you should go and move to Malaysia. And he would say, no, I'll ask my Shiksha Guru. This is a difference. Shiksha Guru is not, how do you say, a despot, a king. So you have to be like, we follow, we have our spiritual masters, we have our mentors, but we also have to make our own progress, and we have to develop our own way of thinking too. And Shiksha Guru is there to help us to understand the philosophy, help us also to understand how to practically involve ourselves. But it's not like now, if I hear a lecture, I heard so many lectures, so I'm not allowed to listen because this is not my guru. This is strange. Because ultimately the shiksha come from Prabhupada. And if you read from Prabhupada, and if you read Prabhupada's books, and if you hear from a devotee who speaks about, fraud is in Prabhupada's books, why you couldn't accept? You don't need to, it doesn't mean that you have to change your life, This is what Shiksha Guru, they can tell you. If you want to get married, you don't ask person on the Vyasa-san, should I get married? This is for the Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. But in general principle, Prabhupada says one should not be greedy. So what are you going to ask your Shiksha Guru? Should I be greedy? Shiksha Guru said, yeah, you should be greedy. This is good for you. It makes no sense. So we accept from everybody. We accept even from I listen to this lecture Bhakti Kasam, like Bhakti Kasam, I'm listening all the time, for example. And she's not my Shiksha Guru. But I had many points which I like. It doesn't mean I'm against my Shiksha Guru, no, because I listen to lectures of Bhakti Kasam or Radhanath Swami, or if there's some good point, if he says we should be humble, and I asked my Guru, is it true that we should be humble? Which is not it's, I don't want to say dumb, but something like this. We have to be advanced enough to understand what is philosophy and what is. If something is wrong, shiksha, then we said, okay, then. If I say, for example, all ISKCON devotees should leave the temples and go to the farms and build the farms, and you say, this is not what Prabhupada says. We should have also preaching centers. We should, according to Prabhupada, we should have everything. So this, you can ask Shiksha Guru. There's some strange thing, and it's unclear to me. Can you clear this up? Then you ask Shiksha Guru. But in general lectures, like surrender to Krishna, serve Krishna, don't be greedy, don't be lusty. I don't think this is a controversial point. Guru is there to clarify, Guru is there to give you guidance, general guidance. Guru is not like we have a nose, there's a description there, you have this, the bull has this to the nose, and then whatever you cannot make one step. We have to develop our own individuality, but all under the shelter of the Guru. We cannot, create our own philosophies or this and that. So we have rights to like certain things, to not like certain things. Some people like to live in the farm, some people don't like to live in the farm. This should be discussed with Shiksha Guru. Should I live in the farm? Nah, not the best idea for you, for example. But in general, then we should not listen to any lectures. Then we should listen only Tao Shiksha Guru lecture. We should not listen to any, because this is not my Guru. This is also kind of strange, because this is called Kanishta Adhikari. Therefore, Madhyama, Prabhupada says, devotees should come to the Madhyama platform as soon as possible so they can hear, they can understand who is a devotee. Madhyama, who is a devotee, who is innocent, who is envious, and who should be avoided, and who is advanced devotee to be associated with. So if you see advanced devotee giving lecture and you say, "Oh, he's not my Shiksha Guru," no, I'm not listening. So that's Kanishta Adhikari. You don't see who is a devotee. You don't take advantage of the association with or advanced devotee. So you should, as soon as possible, come to the platform Madhyama Adhikari. And therefore, when you see some devotees who are senior devotees, who have experience, who are Madhyama Adhikari devotees, this is a very different relationship. They can hear a lecture even from the non-ISKCON devotees. If some situation comes, and like for example, our devotees go sometimes to Ramanuja Sampradaya and Madhva Sampradaya. They don't say, "Oh, Madhva Sampradaya is not my Shiksha Guru." No, they listen to sadhu words and accept what is aligned to our philosophy, and because they don't speak nonsense, Madhva Sampradaya, Ramanuja Sampradaya. So we accept it with great respect, with honor, and then we go home. It's Madhyama Adhikari. But there are lots of Kanishta Adhikaris nowadays, because the more movement is increasing, the more Kanishta Adhikaris will be there. And Kanishta Adhikaris will always, they cannot see, they cannot see who is a devotee, who is a non-devotee, who is innocent, who is envious. They cannot see these things. They say the Kanishta Adhikari, they think they're the Uttama Adhikaris. They think, my Guru and Krishna, and that's it. There's everything else is, or they think they know everything is Krishna. They have all kinds of ideas. And you can see the new devotees, all kinds of the Kanishta devotees. They have this kind of ideas that should be clarified by studying the Shastras, by doing, as we talked today, Bhakti Shastri, by doing the courses nowadays, by asking the Guru, asking different devotees, and you develop knowledge as soon as possible to get out of the Kanishta platform, because in the Kanishta platform you cannot act properly. It's a nice thing, great thing, to be Kanishta devotee. I'm not saying it's wrong, it's great. To be a devotee of Krishna is a great thing. But better is to actually be a Madhyama. Of course, the best is to be Uttama, but this is a completely different story. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, actually, regarding the accumulation of wealth.
Sorry?
Accumulation of wealth, which you
Yes.
reading from this chapter 14, canto 7. So this, like what, not excuse, but the reason what even devotees can give is nowadays, if the money is on the bank, some savings they have in the bank, and then they say because of inflation, so it's not better to leave it in the bank, and then there are other sources for investing, I don't know, mutual funds or whatever. So how can we understand this? This inflation is a real concern for even devotees, or how should we treat this? Because anyway, we give donations as it is stated. For example, if one does donations for all these 5 causes, and still there is money in the bank. So anyway, it's in the bank. So instead of that, it can be, I don't know, maybe that's mutual fund, so that there is a protection against inflation, something like that. So should the devotees can because there are devotees who are also speaking in favor of this kind of investment method. So not sure how to understand this.
This you should ask your Shiksha Guru.
Okay. Okay.
I cannot tell you this. This is your personal life. The philosophy I can answer, but the personal life, what should you do with your money? This I cannot tell you.
No, I mean what Prabhupada said this.
As Prabhupada says here, Prabhupada says one should, according to in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says that one should keep 50% for one's maintenance. 50% should be used for Krishna consciousness. 50-50. This is what Prabhupada said.
Okay.
So More than that, I cannot tell you how, how we should invest money, or should you send money to your parents, this is your life, this you have to ask your Shiksha Guru, the details. And even Shiksha Guru is not really his problem. It's not really his problem either. It's how much you want to dedicate to Krishna, how much money you want to give to Krishna, how much you want to invest in Krishna consciousness. This is your life. I don't think anybody can actually tell you this. Like whom should you marry? Guru cannot tell you shouldn't actually tell you whom should you marry. You have to decide. If I'm a Shiksha Guru and he asks me, should I marry this girl or that girl? I'm not marrying, you are marrying. I can just tell you, maybe for your spiritual life, it'd be good to get married, but you have to decide, are you going to get married, or which woman you want to marry, or which job you want to do. This is not a duty of a guru. We don't see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati tells Prabhupada, they should, there's no such a thing. He's a sadhu. Actually, he helps you in your spiritual life, but material life, these things, like, you have to, and therefore it's not bad to have also grihasta mentor. Not necessarily a guru, but some kind of a senior devotee who could actually, he knows, as we said here, different lands, different countries have different mentalities. So in India now, everybody's into making money, IT, mechanical engineering, making 10,000 euros a month. In Abu Dhabi, 20,000, 20,000 a month. So what are you going to do with 20,000 euros a month? It's a lot of money. So this is up to you. I can say the Srimad Bhagavatam says one should engage everything in Krishna's service, and it's up to you how much you want to dedicate yourself. Nobody's asking me, you should now do this, or you should travel here, or you should wake up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Nobody. I have to wake up myself, because I have this realization that this is for my spiritual life good at the moment. I'm traveling and giving lectures, and we're going to festivals, and we're going to programs, and we preach. I feel this is for me good. Nobody's telling me to do this. Nobody. So nobody can tell you, you should give, whatever, 2,000 euros to a temple a month. Nobody can tell you this. It's up to you. What do you want to give, or where do you want to give, or what donations, or what are you going to do with your money? Should you send all to your parents? It's up to you. I can only from the Vyasa-san say, try to engage everything in Krishna service as much as you can. And the more you engage, the formula is like a scale. The more you engage for Krishna, your material life is less attachment. Less attachment to material life, more for Krishna. More attachment to material life, less for Krishna. But that's what it is. Hare Krishna. Anybody else on the online? Any would like to add something, say something, ask something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for very wonderful class. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya. Shri Gonita ki Jaya. Gaura Premananda ki Jaya. So, Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.